And we're back for our third and final segment, everyone. Good morning. This is IGTV. My name is Joe Concannon. Behind me is William H. Murray, who normally gives the InfraGard editorial. And this week we kind of expanded it a little bit, all right, because there's something very important going on. When we have government officials, all right, suggesting that they establish alternate networks and do things a little bit different outside of the norm, all right, we should normally have a fairly well-vetted a discussion over this, all right, nationally from people around the country. They should be talking about it, and they should be kind of working out some of their ideas, some of their thoughts, and exercising this proposal so that, it sees the light of day and everybody can kind of say, this isn't really anything to worry about, or this is important. But at the end of the day, Bill, one thing that hit me in your YouTube video from last week was this whole notion about connectivity. All right, that's what the internet is supposed to be all about, and that's its value point. All right, the ability for everyone to connect, and then back to the basics. And is this all about, much about nothing? If we were just to stick to the security basics, would this issue kind of eviscerate and go away?
My sense is that this is an implementation-induced vulnerability. It is not yet a problem. We're not seeing misoperation of these controls or even attempts to do so. But it is an existential kind of vulnerability. But we have effective and efficient solutions short of trying to replicate the internet for solving the problem. The problem that we have today is the culture of the operators and getting the operators to implement the proper controls. And this is not even an enterprise kind of a problem in many cases. In many cases, the operators themselves, without any enterprise authorization, establish these connections. It's like the guy who sits in his office and tunnels out to his home computer. These are the kinds of things that are being done. And so it's a culture problem far more than it is a network problem.
All right. Well, Bill, kind of wrapping this up and, putting it all back into a box, so to speak, do you think, EAD Henry was maybe pushing this out there, maybe trying to push the internet community to being more observant, more conscientious about what's going on, and maybe just, kind of a little saber rattling out there? Or, was he just, being very, very provocative and saying, hey, look, if we want to do it, we're going to do it?
Well, it has certainly provoked discussion, and that's probably a good thing. But it tends to be the kind of global solution that bureaucrats promote, rather than the let's get down in the trenches and do the fundamental work. But my sense is it's going to be, it would take too long to implement, it would cost too much money, and it wouldn't solve the problem.
So if they went about it kind of halfway, and set up this private network and didn't reconstruct basically the internet, in other words, laying separate fiber and everything else down, they'd still be subject to a lot of the same vulnerabilities in the first place.
Absolutely. If they would.
Yeah. All right. Well, listen, that was William H. Murray and the InfraGard editorial, expanded edition this week. And Bill, we thank you for taking the time for being with us today and really being, kind of pushing our thoughts and our processes in this area. All right. Because as you said, I think both of us think that Mr. Henry was being very provocative and trying to stimulate the thinking of a lot of people here. And it certainly stimulated a lot of thinking over the InfraGard network across the country when I put it out there. All right. So we thank you for kind of leading the discussion in that area and being with us today.
Okay. Look forward to seeing you next week.
All right. Take care now. Bye.